Nico Williams thought Spain's World Cup dream was over. While Uruguay celebrated, Spain could only watch their tournament slip away, as one of the favourites to win it all was heading for a humiliating group stage exit. But with one player who had spent most of the tournament fighting for opportunities, suddenly he became impossible to ignore. And with Spain's World Cup hanging by a thread, Nico Williams delivered. So, this is the story of how Nico Williams saved Spain's World Cup. When Spain arrived at the 2026 World Cup, they arrived with a clear identity, with most of their superstars struggling across the season or being injured in the case of Lamine Yamal. So Spain had to bring another part to the table, and they brought a juego de posición system where they prioritised space and positioning, creating numerical advantages across the pitch, exploited space and scoring goals as a result. However, football doesn't always stick to the script, as Spain were largely ineffective as Torres and Baena failed to get going, leading to Nico Williams to come on in the first game to make an appearance, and he suddenly showed his explosive self in the first game, winning multiple different fouls against the Uruguay defence. A performance that Luis de la Fuente recognised, as he got a starting spot for the first time in the tournament, as he soon showed why he deserved to be on the pitch, making sure he won multiple different one-on-one duels and made sure he could go inside and out, creating multiple different chances for Spain. As Nico Williams ended up scoring one of the goals of the tournament, getting crucial points for Spain in the group stage, where they massively underperformed. Where after losing to Uruguay 2-1 on match day 1, before losing again 2-1 to Saudi Arabia in a hectic game where Spain just couldn't get control. Just like the game they played in real life, a slow sluggish start got impeded by a team that wanted to play fast and attacking football. But with Yamal getting injured again, not being available to the quarter-final should Spain make it, and Williams being ineffective in the game again, doubting his abilities on the big stage, meaning they would only survive and this video would keep going thanks to a weak second place finish, as Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde didn't have the quality to capitalise. Now, De La Fuente stressed this poor campaign and attributed it to Spain's goalkeeping problems, as Simon wasn't pressured enough, Rodri's absence throughout the group stage putting more pressure on an already weak defence, and the lack of X factors up front, with Williams being ineffective and Yamal pretty much missing the whole group stage with no effect. But De La Fuente didn't have time to react, as he already had Argentina to face in the round of 32 after a poor group stage performance meant a harder opponent in the knockout stages. And his main tactical change was replacing Cucurella for Ronaldo, who was given more license to attack in the flanks, supporting Nico Williams, who needed a boost, while also having multiple different defensive contributions, marking the main man himself, Lionel Messi. And while this effect helped Nico Williams advance into the game and prove he could be the explosive player that Spain needed to get the goals, he was still struggling in those areas and missed multiple different opportunities early on, meaning that Martinez was let off, as a patient Argentina side created multiple high quality chances until eventually they find their way through thanks to a brilliant effort from McAllister to bring the side 1-0 up in a huge game against Spain. And with multiple critics speaking up that Nico Williams couldn't step up in the big moments due to the absence of Lamine Yamal, who was still out with injury, he stepped up and scored a big goal despite the mistake of Emi Martinez, and he wasn't done there as he kept going at the Argentinian defence, pummeling them with his pace and explosiveness as he scored another goal to make it 2-1. A crucial goal for Spain, which would mean they would advance to the round of 16, and a huge goal for Nico Williams, proving he could step up in the big moments and become the X factor Spain needed in the absence of Lamine Yamal, as that man right there knew he had been beaten in his final World Cup. So Nico Williams has set up a round of 16 match against a team massively punching above their weight, but thanks to a brilliant attacking goal from Dani Olmo, proving that Spain had the ability to go all the way, that set up a quarter-final against another strong team, Portugal, and another legend of the sport, Cristiano Ronaldo, a man that had proven his dominance in the early games of the group stage and the round of 32, scoring 4 goals up to this point. And that explosive attacking talent, followed by the best midfield in the tournament, showed early on, thanks to a beautifully attacking goal from Pedro Neto, thanks to poor goalkeeping from João Garcia, again shown in this tournament Spain's goalkeeping problems, as De La Fuente forced himself to rotate, and as a result they were caught to an early break as Ronaldo scored the second, and set up Portugal for an easy quarter-final bash. Until De La Fuente made one of the greatest substitutions in World Cup history, bringing on more attack-minded players that have the capabilities to score goals over players that are just worried about passing, and eventually Mikel Merino, the substitute, won a huge penalty inside the box for Spain straight off the bench after making attack-minded runs, the exact tactic that De La Fuente needed to get his team back into this game. And as expected, the other substitute, Borja Iglesias, scored the penalty, meaning that Spain, thanks to the brilliant substitutions, were back into this game. But Spain would need more attacking wisdom if they wanted to win this game, and thanks to Nico Williams' attacking flair and ability to win fouls inside the box, he won a penalty, showing that he was a tough cookie to crack as defences were still struggling to defend against him, the old Nico Williams that he knew, as he was adding great attacking talent to a Spain side that was struggling without Yamal. So with a developed confidence after scoring one penalty goal and being unplayable within that game, and thanks to the game from Nico Williams, Spain had the licence to push, and Nico Williams obliged, pushing Diego Costa to his absolute limit until eventually
he has the ball up with him. Williams will go himself. Spain seems set for the quarter-finals with a swift breakaway. And one of their scintillating white men, Nico Williams.
Little step over, takes it the other way. Looking at the far post, sorry it's going near post. And Spain are in cruise control now.
And with Nico Williams surprisingly not being done and not being happy, he wanted a hat-trick, and in the final minute after winning the penalty, he scored a beautifully chipped goal and sent Portugal packing as Ronaldo missed his last chance to win the World Cup, while Nico Williams was happy as this could be it, the tournament king. Although there still was the worry on everyone's minds regarding Spanish fans that Nico Williams still doesn't turn up in the big moments after missing a big chance against Iran that could have sealed the game as they only won 1-0. But could he take the final step to win the biggest tournament in the land? So Spain would have to get ready to face Brazil in the semi-finals, a team that had figured out a lot in this tournament and finally managed to identify a style of play they were happy with, a system that balanced their attacking flair with their defensive capabilities, mixed with a strong midfield that was in a possession-based system, one that could support the attacking players and bring out the best of them, hence beating big teams like Morocco. And this showed in the first 15 minutes of the game, as Brazil's intensity was too much for Spain to handle, as they struggled to get out of their own half despite their passing capabilities, and eventually Vinicius Jr. found a way through as he made it 1-0, as he once again scored a big goal in a big game, with a cheeky chip over a helpless Unai Simon despite his best efforts to keep Spain in the game as they were struggling. But after everything Spain had been through during this tournament, they knew that they had the potential to force their way back into this game, and eventually the game opened up after Yamal was fouled by Gabriel, an injury that would keep him out for the rest of this semi-final, but would mean he was still available for the final as it wasn't that severe, but his contributions opened up the game, allowing Spain's other X-factor, Nico Williams, to get the goal to get his team back into the game, as his attacking runs with explosiveness and pace terrorised the Brazilian defence after the game opened up. And with him managing to stay at 100%, a doubt due to his problems with pubalgia, his skill in one-on-one situations and in duels helped him get through the Brazilian defence as he once again found a way through and made it 2-1, the big goal that would help his team go to the final of the World Cup 2026, a feat that many didn't think they would reach after their disastrous opening game against Cape Verde IRL and their poor group stage in-game. but with the X Factor Nico Williams, who was finally turning up in multiple big games across this tournament, scoring in every knockout game except the round of 16 against Iran. Could he be the man that could get his team through in this tense game against France, who had high quality in every single area of the pitch, as they wanted to right the wrongs of 2022 and get back to where they wanted to be at the peak of World Cup football? And that showed in the first half of the pitch as they pummeled the Spanish defence with multiple shots on goal, as their attacking talent was just too much for Spain to handle, until eventually
Mbappé, Thuram, Mbappé! Oh wow! He is an awesome force of nature! Brutal and brilliant! Wow, when you want your top man, your superstar to come to the fore, Kylian Mbappé does exactly that.
So after getting the pummeling in the first half and then conceding 2 straight back-to-back goals early in the second half, Spain were under pressure as Luis de Fuente made a load of early substitutes as he started playing more attacking. However, the threat was going to come from anyone who was going to be from a fit and ready to go Lamine Yamal, who had history scoring against France in big tournament, and he was the threat, making multiple big chances on the right hand side for his teammates who respected his authority. Until eventually Yamal got a chance of his own in a one-on-one against Mignon. However, after being pushed to the side, he was eventually hacked down by a nervous Saliba, and sooner rather than later the penalty was given, and with that Spain had a lifeline to try and get back into this game, as Yamal stepped up and put the penalty into the right hand side with conviction, and with that Spain thought they could get back into this game as their superstar was the one to give them hope. Now with all the players and fans asking whether Spain had the quality to get back into the game, as France were now focusing on defending with might. Yet Spain had one more opportunity to get back into this game. Nico Williams, who had scored in this position multiple times within this tournament, failed to break through, and with that Spain had missed out on the World Cup again since 2010. Thank you guys for watching this style of video. I just urge you to subscribe if you are watching the video for a decent amount of time, but also my main concern is to like, comment and engage, tell me what I can do better and what I can improve on. Thank you guys for getting to this point in the video, and I hope you come for more.